Okay, hello world. Today is the 27th of December. Today is the 27th of December 2020. The year is coming to an end and it looks like it is drifting towards ending on a sad note. Like we have not had enough of sad. And because I have this voice and because I have these platforms, I'm not going to stop talking. I seriously cannot see a child being abused and I don't talk about it. I am the founder of an association, Hope for the Abused and the Battered. I'm a single parent of 3 boys. I'm a woman. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a lawyer. I'm an activist. I'm so many things in one. And I'm like, no, we can't continue to turn the other side because it did not happen to our child. We can't continue to pretend that there's so much shit going on in this world. We can't continue to pretend because we are Christians. We can't. Because what happens to our children today is going to affect their future. This morning I got up, I was watching Inyala Fix My Life. And I was watching an episode of her trying to fix a broken family. And the pain, the trauma went back to their childhood. Abandonment, maltreatment, abuse, all of that. And then it shows up in their marriages and all of those things. So we cannot afford to pretend and make like these things are something that we can just pray over. I know people are in church praying. My own church is in my room, in my corner, in my house, with the people I work with. The mission I have, the assignment I have is a very sacred one. I don't need loud noise. So I stay quiet. But when I see something like what I saw, I have to say something. And when I say something, if I can do something, I'm going to do something. Just 3 days ago, I saw another video of a grandmother beating her grandchildren mercilessly. 4-year-old children. Today, I have watched, oh God, who made me to watch? But I had to watch 11 minutes. If a mother holds a phone to interview her son for 11 minutes, it means that there's so much pain. There's so much pain. You just need to watch that video every 1 minute, and then you can feel that pain. That child, it's not that physical pain. It is inside, deep down inside him. And he's still young. By the time he grows adult, how will his relationships be affected? What has happened to this child? Whose children do those kind of things to other people's children? Which principle determines that the punishment for a child should be that other children should molest him or should punish him, beat him up? And I sitting here, my first son, I've tagged him on that video. I really have to beg my son for forgiveness because I didn't ask my son the extent to the abuse he endured in that school. You know this thing that we are, whether Christians or stuff, and we want to be like, no, they don't do no rubbish in those schools. So even if you know of any rubbish, you don't talk about it because it was back then. I didn't have all of these platforms. I just came back to Cameroon in 2015. But when I saw my son, I was like, no, my son is not staying in that school. I remember having a hard time with my mom to withdraw my son from that school and to put him in day school near my house. I was like, no, I will stay with my son. My son is not going back to that school. It was in the summer. I was out of this country. I've dealt with a lot of mom guilt. So when I see something like this, I just go right back there and I review it. I remember seeing my son before he went to that boarding school in that year. He was chubby like our own son. He was chubby. And I was not here. I even remember fighting over the choice of the school he was going to go to. I didn't want him to go there. I didn't want him to go to boarding school. Neither in this Douala nor out of Douala. But letting him go to boarding school in Douala was the better evil for me. Because if they had sent him to Boya or to Bamenda, what would I have done? I didn't want my son to go there, but I was not here. When I still see people today send their children to boarding school, I'm just like, anyway, any man make a choice. What? And you know, as a mother, when you go and visit your child, you just want to feed them. You just want to spend that time with them. You don't have much time. Those visiting things are sometimes 30 minutes, 1 hour. Yes, well, that's how we were brought up. I went to boarding school. And my secondary school, boarding school, maybe because for me it was better than home, so I never had a problem. I wasn't bullied. And even if I was bullied, I didn't care about all of that. We punished me. For me, it was instead fun to do that work and stuff. So no, it is in high school, but then by high school I was already a senior student and I had my own way, so nobody could even joke with me. By then I was already such a radical and any kind of person. So I cannot say that I had a bad experience in boarding school. I didn't like it, but for me it was better than. But no, today, me send my child to boarding school? Nah. I said 1 year, my son in boarding school. All the things she was talking about her son, I could just flash back and see that in Alain. He wasn't communicating anymore. He had shut down. The letters were becoming more miserable. And they were even being sneaked because they did not allow them to write letters in school. I said they make like it's some prison in those schools. Whether they're teaching those children what, I don't know. But if we sincerely sit with all of our children who are in boarding school today, the trauma that those children have inside them. Hey, mama mia. Look at me, somebody's child, oh. I'll go and look for the link of that video and put it here again. I beg people who watch this thing, go and watch, share. Let this thing go by. What kind of rubbish is this? Who are those boys who were sexually molesting this little boy? Lina, don't leave this thing like that though. Sue them. Sue that school. Let him show any of those children. They'll kill what on him. If it's in this Cameroon, I'm showing up somewhere. What nonsense is this? Putting their finger in his anus. Is that not sodomy? Hey, mama me. Oh. I hope that my son was never touched. Even if it is 5 years, I'll go back to that school. All I wanted was to take my son out of that school. I did not want to hear nothing. I just wanted to take my son out of that school. From the school to the hospital. Not even like from the school to the house. I remember he had typhoid. What are they giving him for typhoid? Paracetamol. School fees is another thing. Whether it was 450 at that time, it was what though? Plus the list of things you buy, which will keep getting missing. I'm done with boarding school. Like, if I even know somebody, the person is even asking me, anyway, I don't even know anyone I can recommend to anybody now. COVID will just come and help us. So it's like those who are still sending, it's their own. Then people can go out of business. I don't know. Until they stop doing that and the scandals keep arising, we just cover them because, hey, now God, then this and that and that. But even those who have their children in boarding schools now, majority of them, if they ask those children, there will be scandals. Either they have initiated them into lesbianism, or it is homosexuality, or it is this, or it is that. Goodness gracious. Starved children. Yes, my son was like the Alain, you know. I said the day I went, I have those pictures in my Google photos there. Hey, bone. Yeah, I don't have bones. Bone, his rib cage, everything was there like that. I said I took the boy from school to the hospital. I had to be mixing egg yolk and doing those kind of things so that the child should be drinking to even put on some weight. Up to today, who knows what this child has not told me because I did not even know how to ask. Hey, Papa, no. A mother's nightmare that your child is sexually assaulted in the place where you most thought that child was going to be protected. In missionary boarding school. Hey, God help us. Oh. And then you will hear the excuses they will be having, and they will be trying to cover, shut you down, shut you up, and then they will be turning around the thing, and then they will be dragging, and then they will tell you that we are going to punish those students. Punish students. In that particular video, Lina said whether it's the principal or the headmaster or whoever, he would tell the dormitory, he would tell the senior students to take the boy there. Whether the child was peeing, the child was doing whatever, and so what? I say people look for children. People go through all kinds of pain and trauma and everything to just conceive or adopt. And then you will have your own. Carry and go and give to a boarding school where you are hoping that they will teach them some kind of things and values and moral values and all of those kind of things. Whether that culture even came from where? Those missionaries. Oh, Mama mia. Where? That trauma with Alain, I said, no, all of them like that. Even before this thing happened, I was like, nobody is going to know. We'll stay in this same house. The day we have rice, we eat. The day we don't have, nothing. But I'm not sending any of them. I mean, like, even to go and stay there. Their grandma, it's like, I trust my mom, I trust their father. But if I hear one thing, pim, anywhere, my grace never starts. No. I said, once David came back from holidays at his father's place, my son was looking like with rashes. Goodness gracious. I called his stepmom. I called his father. Oh, the way I was raging. They knew that if I show up in front of their house, that house is going down. What? Ha! More. Another one, another sister wrote there, commented saying that her child is being molested, and they're telling Matrita, and they're telling her, leave the child, it goes strong. Strong what? Did I send my child there to go and become strong? Strong in what? This thing that we are even so super busy or whatsoever like that, we send them there. For some people, it's like an escape way, so they let them send them to boarding school so that I can, she don't quiet small. I'm not here alone because I have any problem with them being there in their room. We have gotten to a point where everybody can do their thing in their corner. So me, I'm very comfortable with my children around me. If I send them anywhere, it is for them to also go and spend some time with somebody, their grandma. That's the only place I send them to. Their father's house, their grandmother. That is all. There's nothing. If I want to send my child to another person, I need to trust you. And if I just hear pim, I'm showing up. No. The amount of havoc that is happening in the world these days. You see people like that woman who threw hot water on another person. She probably grew up with all kinds of issues. She has a lot of mental issues and stuff. We don't want to call them that. We just think that people just pick things from somewhere. All that insecurity, all that low self-esteem, all that whatsoever accumulated from childhood. We call it adverse childhood experience. This boy who has been abused, God help this child, oh. God help this child. Let the parents not take it lightly. Because this child can grow up and not want to have any relationship or with a woman or her abuse too. You don't need to go and pray somewhere before you know that you are praying. Pray in your heart, pray in your house. Pray with your children first of all. You're sending them off to the slaughterhouse called boarding school. That they did not give him lunch because they say his parents did not pay for afternoon meal. Can you be in the boarding school and not pay for afternoon meal? What rubbish is that afternoon meal? Hey. My son, this just takes me back to 5 years ago. Sometimes some of those things you don't want to ask because you don't want to even just hear the impossible, the one that you cannot carry in your heart. But I'm going to have that conversation with him. I just hope he wasn't molested. If not, that school is going to hear me. It's 5 years. Statute of limitation is 10 years. So I will show up. No, I cannot. Hey, God help that school. My son wasn't sexually molested. God help that school. I forgive myself for not asking my son 5 years ago. But if it happened, hey, our national TV will hear us. What? I'll bring down the school first. I'll cause some scandal. I don't want to say that shame on us parents, because I don't think Lina sending her son to that school, it was with the intention that he goes and gets molested. My dear, sometimes you think that in that kind of environment, maybe children who have difficulty studying, concentrating, you think in that environment where there's structure, where there's a program and all of those things, They are going to thrive. They're going to learn, all of those things. Also learn how to be in society. I think that the underlying idea is a good one. But what happens in those places? I went to boarding school. Look, they feed us crap in boarding school. We just eat it and we go, as they say, now God. But they feed us crap. Why? Because they want to make money. And so the staff are underpaid. They are overworked. And of course, they want to make money. So they don't, for example, they buy the bag of beans and then they just pour the thing like that into the pot. So you see weevils on top of your food. It becomes a joke. It's protein. And you grow up with it and say, now the kind of culture that I be grow up with now. And if I did not die, you will not die. We forget that the children we have today don't have the same build up that we had, both physically, mentally, everything, to survive in that kind of environment. So by the time they go there and then they realize that they are all on their own, inside 2 months, 3 months, some of those schools you visit only one time per term. By the time you go there one time, you want that child to tell you what during that one time. And when you see the child, you are thinking to yourself, oh no, fear, they don't want to be here after I've wasted all my money. No. How are other people coping? So stay quiet. So the child stays quiet. And then the child starts to shut down. And the child is afraid to talk to you. See, watch that video, see how her son was scared of talking to her. Scared like they can come and meet him right there where he is, although he is in the house with her. And she shows pictures of how he was before he went to that school, and how talkative and how everything. And that's the kind of son I had too. And I know the work I have put in to get my sons to be where they are today than where they were before. It is so much work. Let's not do this to our children anymore. Please, let's stop doing this to our children. You want to keep your child in boarding school, at least be monitoring and be asking all the questions each time you see something. This visiting thing of one time for one term, first of all, for me, is like, why were those missionaries coming up with all of those things? If it was not to kind of like keep us away from one another and trying to just dominate our lives and all of those, it doesn't make sense to me today to send somebody, put children, and then forbid their parents from seeing them like every other Sunday. No visiting Sunday. Don't bring them food. Don't bring nothing from home. They will eat the food that they provide in school. Look, ask all those people, my generation, who went to Lord Seeker, all of them. We all have stories. There's some bitterness somewhere. There is some bitterness somewhere. Let me not even talk about the bullying, the beating. Senior students thinking that, let me do back to them what they did to me. I remember this Foxes Can Dance Without Music experience that they woke us up at midnight to cut our tails and stuff for them. It was fun. For me, it was so ridiculous to the point where I just started jumping before they started the whole thing. I was like, let me just make a fool of the whole thing, like the whole experience, the whole thing was to make you cry, to humiliate you, call you a fox. A human being like you, they call you a fox. You tie a line, put buckets, you have to jump over and whatsoever. And then big senior students like that, shameless, cannot wash their clothes. Some women take uploads with their pants, underwears, give you small child to go and wash. There is no child, none of my college children, they are still my children up to today. I never get any of them my one clothes to wash. Never. Even my plate, never. I will take their own and wash. First of all, I like work. So why would I be giving a child my clothes to wash, or my plate, or my things like that? If they even took my plate, they took it themselves, or my clothes, but never. Even my water, I'll carry it myself. Come on, give a small from one child, you're in, or whether lower seat for 5, whatever. You cannot do something, you begin to send a small child running up and down, giving them work and all of those kind of things. You are sick, they will be giving you paracetamol, leave you there in the sick bay for days. Oh, the highest thing is maybe boil fever grass and give. Oh my goodness. Oh, Lina, Ashia, Mami, Ashia. You have so much work with your son now. Whereas before you sent him 2 months ago, you didn't have this kind of work. What kind of trouble is this? The money you have spent, the prayers. What have the prayers done? Now you have to work. For that child to get back his livelihood, his smile and everything, my dear, you go work. Because even if you buy things and everything, there will still be so much inside there. So it has to come up small, 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 small. I beg. No blaming. No blaming. This is not time to blame anybody. Neither you nor your son. I beg you, people need a lot of healing. A lot. Not blaming even his father. Nobody. I beg. If there's anybody who should be responsible to own anything in this thing, is that school. And then the boys who did that to your son. Karma is a bitch. Big mommy, karma is a bitch. Don't just tie your heart. Karma is a bitch. I just had to come and do this. My whole intention was just to stay me quiet this today like this. Like not even come on live. Nothing. No talk, no write, no nothing. Just stay me quiet and be just appreciating me my life quietly. But no, they can't be talk me. Who tag me? Oh. Anyway. Those who ever watch. Those who want to share. Those who have children, think about them. You begin to turn your face one side, chasing whatever you are chasing, ignoring your children. Then tomorrow when they turn out whatever they turn out, you start to even blame the same children. You start to blame every other person around. And then they go and cause other havoc to other people's children too. And their own children too. And then you call it generational curse. Please, parents, pay attention. God help us all. Happy Sunday.